Oh, so I want to do that.
Cute. And then she has to live in the tower.
Yes.
The water tower.
Yeah.
How did she get up there?
You know, that's a good question. I have no idea.
They never really show that in the movie, do they?
They don't. They just see her swimming around.
Yeah.
And also, aren't water towers, like, not filled with water? I think they're just pipes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, fake-ass movie.
Oh, God. Wow.
What can you do?
That's my fun
The more
fact
you
of the
know.
week because I didn't know that shit. Okay, number 6 is a picnic. Now, this one,
yes.
people might say might cost money. However, I think you could put together items that you already have or, like, both bring a little bit.
Yes,
like,
bring a snack.
You bring the crackers, I bring the cheese, like,
Bada bing,
whatever.
bada boom.
Like, I don't know, you got some fruit snacks, I got some Cheez-Its. Like, I don't know. I think this
Make
one
an
could...
off-brand charcuterie board.
Right, literally make a
Yes.
ratchet charcuterie board. Like,
I love it.
I think this could be put together of, like, things that you already have. There's probably, like, some things in the back of your cupboard that you're like, I was gonna cook this, but I never did. Like,
Yeah.
whip it up. Like, I don't know, ask your mom. She could probably tell you how to make tuna
For
into something
sure.
good, right?
And if you bring a little barefoot wine,
Yeah.
spice it up.
Literally,
How
honestly,
fun.
if someone just brought, like, fresh fruit and vegetables,
That
like,
would be so fun.
maybe a dip
Yeah.
or two.
Oh, I love dip.
I'm there. I'm
Yes.
down for a good dip.
Of course. If there's dip, I'm there.
I think that would be fun. I also wrote wine because I think, regardless of the event, like,
Wine could
bring
be
me
there.
a claw, right? But, like, also I feel like if you bring wine, I'm like, oh,
It's
so it's
romantic.
romantic.
Okay.
Yeah, you're literally like, or just maybe one flower. What is that, $2? So
if they
cute.
throw the flower, I would cry.
Yeah, they're like, this is the final rose tonight.
I'd
And
be
it's
like-
only you. You're like, oh, wow.
Okay.
I feel like those little things, like, they don't cost a lot, but that
It's
kind of,
so
like,
sweet.
brings you next level to the date. Like,
You could steal the flower.
oh, yeah, the flower, like, you would never really think it would be that big of a deal. What is it,
That's
$2
so
on your
cute.
cost? But, like,
Yeah.
that's something they would remember. And, like,
I would be like, okay, so I'm in love with you.
I would forget to do this, but I know girls have, like, pressed their flowers. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I should do that, but
That's what I did with my sister's wedding for my bouquet.
so cute.
I know.
Whenever I get a flower, then maybe
Yeah.
I'll do that.
There we go.
But, so, yeah, if you want to buy me flowers, let me know. I'll DM you my address. The next one. This one you could argue costs a little bit of money. However, I think you could already have the supplies. Cooking dinner together. This is
Yes.
another thing where I think you could each bring a little bit of something. Like, you probably have, like, some Simply salad in the back of your cabinet that you
everyone
could
has
whip
that.
up.
For sure. You got some pasta. I already
Yeah,
know.
literally. And you probably have some, veggies that you could cut up and zest it up.
Absolutely.
Some spices. Like, I feel like if you put together, you could either cook them dinner, which would be really romantic, or, like, cook it together, which would be kind of fun.
I feel like making it together makes it so much more fun, too.
Yeah, like, I would be
Sounds
like,
like
just
fun.
bring, like, a bunch of random shit and let's
Yeah.
see what we can create.
Exactly.
Like, that would be
Pop
kind
it in
of
a
fun.
pot.
Like,
Yeah.
just bring random stuff. Like, don't tell
That
me what
would
you're
be
bringing.
fun. And then
like,
just see what
bring
you can
random
do.
stuff and let's see what we can
jacked.
make.
No, that's what Alicia and Jordan do all the time, and it's so sweet because they're just like cooking in the kitchen. And I'm like, that's so cute.
That's so cute.
I
I love
love it.
that. The next one is kind of an obvious one. A coffee date. I think this is a
Yes.
classic.
It is.
Personally, like, I think it's probably, like, one of the best first dates. Only thing that kind of throws me off is usually it's kind of quiet in the coffee shops.
Yeah.
So I would like to get a cup of coffee, maybe, like, either, I
You
guess,
can go
in the
somewhere
winter
else.
stay or, like, walk somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, what if there's people studying? I mean, I know that I'm that nosy ass bitch, and I'll take an earbud out to listen to the
Do you
first
remember
date.
we were at Cool Beans
Oh,
and there was a first
yes.
date? I took the literal
I was
AirPods
like,
out and I was like, all right, so I'm going to listen.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm definitely listening right now. I want to
Yes.
know if there's going to be a second date.
Yes, I
We
want
would-
every single detail.
We would do that all the time last year, and we would bet if there was a second date or
Yes. Yes.
not. And I guarantee you we were right.
Oh, for sure. Because some of them I was like, not there.
There was one man
Chemistry
who-
is not there.
Oh, do you remember the guy? Maybe it was me and Tanner. I don't know if you were there. Anyway, so he literally told the girl that the previous weekend he finished a whole handle by himself.
Yes, I do remember
Yes.
that. He was like, yeah. And he was kind of like douchey about it.
Yeah, it
and I
was douchey, but I was like,
oh,
not a
fine.
flex at all. You know what you
We
need
all
to do?
looked at each other and were
Go
like,
to AA. Like, that's bad. A whole
It
handle,
was
like,
dumb. I was like, oh no.
God.
You could just tell. I remember looking over and the girl was just like, what? Like, her face, I was like, no,
I
he's
was like,
done.
ooh,
That
and
ruined
it's
it.
it's really looking
You
tough
might as
for
well
you.
get in the car now.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, that's tough, buddy. But I think that's a good one because you can talk.
Yeah.
You, like, will really, I don't know. I also think at coffee shops sometimes there's, like, board games or, like,
Yes.
like, talking point. I don't want to say talking points because that sounds dumb, but, like, there's usually, like, something to do as well because it's, like, a classic first date.
For sure.
I just think you can't go wrong. And if you don't
Really
like coffee, grow up or order before she gets there, tell her it's coffee and it's actually hot chocolate.
Literally. If you don't like coffee, don't talk to me. I hate it. Like, grow up.
You
That's
can
the
get
truth.
coffee like so sweet and syrupy
Yes,
that it's like,
it
how do you
might be
not like
milk.
coffee? It literally tastes like
I
a
don't
milkshake,
understand.
you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, the next one is just like Sid came up with this idea. You want to talk about your little point drive idea?
Point drive.
You said you like within a 50-mile.
Oh, yes. I was confused. Okay.
Yeah.
So you look at a map of wherever you live. You do a 50 to 100 mile radius, however bold you're feeling. And then you close your eyes and point and then just drive there and see what's around.
Yeah.
And you can explore, you can have a good playlist for the drive, and you can just see what's happening. You know?
Yeah, I think that would be cute. Like, if you were gonna do this, I feel like this would be like maybe like 2 dates in, or maybe not a first date, maybe a couple dates in.
Yeah.
But it would be also cute if you did like a collaborative playlist. Like if you
Yes.
both have Spotify
And then share it
and share it, and like
That
you
would
both
be
add
so
songs. That way, like
Yeah.
you're kind of like, that's like also a talking point. Like while you're in the car, you're like, oh my god, I added this song. Like I love this song. Like funny story about this song, or like
Yeah.
I don't know, I went to their concert. Like
I
just gives you
agree.
like something to talk about. I also think it's cute because like then if you do keep dating, then you do have a playlist. But wow, I feel like honestly,
Dang,
who's
I
gonna
didn't even
take
think
me
about
on
that.
these playlists
I know.
playlists? Who's gonna take me on these dates? Because I'm trying to go.
Oh my god. I want to be taken on a date. I haven't been taken on a date in
Yeah.
so long.
Sid, we will get to why
Okay,
to you
true.
later in your
Thank
dating
you.
life
Thank
because
you.
I'm about to expose you at the end.
Oh, please do. I
Um,
need to be exposed.
So the last one I think would be so fun, but also involve a lot of prep work, but could be free, or you could include little, gifts along the way. I think a scavenger hunt would be so fun.
Yes, I think it'd be so exciting. And if a man, I think this is again like another second, third date.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely like a relationship type of date. But if they took like time, I'd be like, oh my god. Like,
Yeah, and you could
that's
like
so
leave
nice.
little things. Like I also think like it would be cute if you were like showing her your hometown and you're like, this is my
Yes.
high school, or like something like
That
that,
would
or
be
like
so fun.
places in your hometown that like meant something to you.
That's a
and like
good idea.
you could leave like little chocolate. So like in the end she had like a little basket, or you could do it completely free. Like
Ooh.
easy peasy. You can make this
Yeah.
inexpensive, or you can make this free. Like
Yeah.
overall, I think that'd be so cute. It just takes time and effort on your part, which maybe you're not trying to do that. And if
True.
you're not, then maybe you shouldn't be dating.
And that's the truth.
And that's the tea. If you don't have money, or you don't have, like, if you don't have money, I get that. Then I just think you have to be a little crafty.
Right. You gotta
Which
use
is not
your
bad.
creativity.
I have no problem, like, being crafty with dates. I think they're more fun, almost. Like,
Yes.
than just, like, paying for dinner. Like, that's so, like, regular. I honestly am down for more of, like, an adventure.
Me too, and I kind of get intimidated when it's like a fancy ordeal for the first time because I'm like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like I have to like, not be like more timid, but like,
No, I see what
censor
you're saying.
myself,
Yeah.
you know?
And I get a little, like, stressed out with dinner because
Yes.
I mean, although I don't want to, like, I think about, is what I'm ordering giving an impression, like,
Yes.
on someone? Like, I also don't want to, I feel bad, like, being a financial burden on someone, like,
I know,
on the first
like,
date.
I don't want to hit you with a $50 bill. If
Right.
this goes badly, I'll never see you
Right,
again.
because then I think, yeah, that's
You
my
know?
exact thought. I don't want to,
Yeah.
like, leave you with a tab and we're never going to see each other again.
Right, like, I don't want you to hate me because of that.
But I also, like, when I talk to my parents, they're like, well, that was just the cost of dating. Like, you just had, like, some...
True.
This is an economics term. Sunk costs. You'll just never get that
Oh.
money back. But, like,
True.
I guess it's worth it in the end because what are you trying to
One
do?
day
You're trying
you'll
to find a
find it.
suitor, and
Yeah.
one day that
A
$50 will be
suitor!
worth it.
True.
I don't know. I also think that these are all great options besides Netflix and chill.
I swear to God, I hate when they're like, oh, you just want to hang out at my place? I'm
I
like,
hate that.
no, I really don't.
I'm like, actually, I'm good. You know where I'll hang out? My place. And watch
Literally.
Netflix. And watch
By
my
myself.
show. And watch it by myself.
Yes.
And take up my own bed. Like,
Literally.
ugh. Anyway. So,
ridiculous.
the next thing that we need to get into is, could you speak upon your commitment issues, Sydney?
Oh, no.
Welcome to therapy. And it's
Oh,
time. I have known Sydney for 4 years now.
Oh,
and
no.
love you to absolute pieces. However, every time you get into a relationship, after a couple weeks, a
I
couple
leave.
months, this last one lasted longer than
It
expected.
was a long one.
Yeah.
Like, it lasted from, like, November to, like, May.
Yeah, it's like you get the ick of these men, and
Yes.
you're like, you know what, Maddie, I think I gotta break up with them. I'm like, oh,
I
did
know.
something happen? And you're just like,
No.
no, I just gotta leave. And it's like Free Willy. Like, you just
I
gotta
know.
go. Like, I'm
It's
just like,
so
oh,
bad.
okay.
And, like, every time I text you, I'm like, hey, by the way, I might break up with them. You're like, why? Like, what
I'm like,
happened?
things are going perfect,
It
Sid.
was, like, perfect. Like, picture perfect. Everything was amazing. And then I'm like, yeah, well, this has been fun. And, yeah, that's it.
No, I get that, though.
I just get so bored.
Yeah, that, and I also feel like in college, you're such a time where, like, a lot of times you end up doing distance, or, like, there's so many, like, obstacles, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
people are just, there's constant, this is gonna make it sound like it's okay to cheat, but, like, temptation everywhere.
Like, if there's so many people that it's just like, and if someone flirts with you, it's like, if you're vibing with them, it's like, okay, well, why not?
And I
You
also
know?
just think, like, if you're, maybe, like, I think a lot of these people in relationships these days shouldn't be in a relationship. Because, like, your
agree.
20s is to experience things.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you found someone, see it through. Like, I totally support that.
For sure.
However, I also think your 20s is for figuring out yourself and what you want. And, like, it's really hard to do that when you're attached to someone else.
And I feel like a lot of the times I'll see people, like, dating someone and they constantly complain about them and they're like, I hate, like, not hate them, but they're just like, ugh, like, complaining all the time. And it's like, okay, then break up with them. Like, you're
but
not
if you
married.
say that, they're like, well, I like them a lot. It's like,
And I'm like, okay,
you
not
know, you're
really,
going to
though.
like the next guy a lot, too. And, like
I liked everyone I dated, but, like, not enough, obviously.
yeah, right. And I just think,
Yeah.
like, it's fine to break up with someone. I also think the people that are constantly, like, flirting or, like, cheating on each other, like, you should not be in a relationship.
Yes. No,
There's
I
so
agree.
many people who I know are in a relationship and, like, flirt or, like, DM girls or guys or, like,
Yeah.
or, like, will, like, sneaky hook up with them. And I just sit there and I'm like, just break up with them.
Like, it's not that hard.
That's so rude. And they're like, well, I love them. It's like, okay, you
Not
love
enough,
them.
though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like,
Otherwise, you wouldn't be cheating.
right,
Like,
you would have stayed loyal.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think, okay, for the last one, I did really like him. Like, I did, like, I could see us together, all this stuff, but it was so, like, the distance, I was like, this just is not it. Like,
Right.
I don't want to have to, like, plan my weekends to go visit him, and I don't want to have to plan my life to go visit him, which sounds selfish, but, like...
But I also get that.
Yeah, and, like, I will hopefully go to grad school, and then it's like, that's another thing of distance, and it's just like, is it really worth it? Not really.
Yeah, I don't know. I have two wavelengths because my one wavelength is like I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
My second wavelength is like if they're like my soulmate, like I don't give a fuck about anything. Like
and that's what I
I'll
was
risk
thinking.
it all.
Yeah, I was like, clearly I am not like in love. Otherwise, I would have been
yeah.
like, oh, no problem.
I'm dying to see
Because then
you.
I look at like Abby and Sam, and I'm like, okay, they've been long distance all throughout college, and it's like, I don't think it's ever been a problem. Like, I'm sure it sucked at times, but it's like they obviously love each other enough that it's like, okay, well, it's worth it,
Right.
you know? And it's like I didn't feel that.
Yeah, I feel like I've never heard any stories about them on the rocks.
No, they've been like stable,
Oh, love that.
which is amazing.
Love a healthy
Oh
relationship.
God.
Okay. My last question before we get into everyone's favorite segment is
Yes.
what is the best way to never get a second date, in your opinion?
Oh, I have so much to say.
Oh, thank
Okay.
God.
One, if you talk too much about yourself. Because, again, I can be kind of shy sometimes that I'm not going to be like, "Da-da-da-da, this is what I like to do.
Right.
This is me. This is that. And if they're just like going on and on and on about themselves, I'll just be like, okay, like, I like to do that. But
You'll
like,
end up talking about them the whole time.
yes, I'm like, okay, because I like, you know, you're just gonna be like, oh, how was that? What about
Right.
this? And it's just like all about them.
You
And I'm like,
are like that. You gotta like. Sometimes I catch myself. I'm like, well, Sid, how are you? Like, I'm like, Sid, stop asking me about myself.
and then I just leave, and I'm like, okay, do they even know my name?
Yes,
Like,
right?
Jesus.
Oh, I totally agree.
my
I also
God.
feel like it's a sign of like, okay, you must not be that into me because you obviously didn't care enough to ask questions about me.
Right, like they literally just want to go on a date at that point.
I was thinking like more small scale stuff. Two things that popped into my head actually were long fingernails.
Oh,
Gross me the fuck out. I
That
literally
gives me the
cannot.
ick.
On
Like-
guys or girls. Like, even on girls, like, natural long fingernails.
it's disgusting.
Gross me out.
No, I can't deal. Like, I remember I met this girl, and I was like, oh my God, where do you get your acrylics done? And she goes, oh, they are my real. And they were so long, I was like, that makes me want to throw up. Like, that is disgusting.
You know what my other trigger is?
What?
Thong flip-flops. Hate them.
Oh, you can hear them smacking on the ground.
Oh, God. I would be like, please leave. Just turn around.
No, I agree. I think bad style in general. Which,
Yes.
fun fact, psychology, not to